2 years on June 23rd.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. For those who don't know, this is Panda.
She's high.
How did we meet?
Wow. It was back in 2017, in July, I think. And I had just started following Christ for like a month or two. And one of my long-term friends invited me to a mission trip information meeting to Greece. So I thought, okay, God had put missions on my heart and I wanted to see old friends, so I decided to go. I walk into the room where the meeting was going to happen, and on the stage, Austin was sitting there, and he had long hair right there. And I'd grown up going to a Baptist church where all the men were like shaved and wore like nice clothes, very clean. But when I saw him, I thought, wow, I didn't know guys at church were allowed to dress like that, specifically leaders. And I was like, oh, he's cute. So I sat front row, hoping that he'd notice me. And as he was sharing information about the trip, his heart bled for the refugees there and for sharing Jesus. And I remember thinking, like, I want a person like that in my life, even if he's just a friend, just to be around other people who have the same passion or the same same passion. So I caught up with him afterwards and we made some small talk, and he gave me his business card, and I thought, okay, cool. Got to meet him, and it might have been a couple weeks later, I show back up at Elevate and I see Austin in the lobby. We make eye contact and he looks at me. He's like, hi, I'm Austin. I'm like, yeah, I know. And he's like, have we met before? And I'm like, yes. So he had forgotten we even met. But at that point I decided, I think I'm going to focus on my relationship with God instead. He had laid it on my heart because I had been idolizing relationships with men. So I thought, you know what? Whatever. I'm just going to focus on Jesus. And so that's what I did.
A few months later,
October.
Yeah, I was helping to promote another ministry called Naya Jivan. It's a Hindu outreach ministry that trains people on how to engage their Hindu neighbors within the context of the United States. And as the training began, Sarah was in attendance, and as I walked into the room where it was being held, I saw her, and I was like, wow, she is really cute. So I'm going to sit next to her, because I really, as a leader of this ministry, I wanted to really make sure that she felt welcomed. And after that, me, Sarah, and our friend Andrew, who became one of our groomsmen in our wedding, we went out to lunch afterwards at a Zoe's Kitchen. And after we ate, Sarah got up to go to the restroom. And I looked over at Andrew and I was like, I think I'm going to ask her out. And, we talked about it for a little bit. He tried to pull me back. Whoa, Nelly. And I did not listen. And we started to have dinner on Thursday nights before the worship service for this young adult ministry. And we got to know each other over the course of many moons. And there came a point when I realized, I really do think I'm going to marry her. And we started to go deeper in our relationship and seek some counseling on that. And I popped the question on
December 22nd, 2018.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We went to the Dallas Arboretum with her sister and brother-in-law and walked around for a while, and we found a perfect spot. And I got down on both knees and read her a poem that I wrote and presented the ring, and she said,
yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that was it. Smooth sailing ever since. In the first 2 years of marriage, What is something that you have learned about yourself that you did not expect to learn?
Well, what comes to mind is I never thought that I was a prideful person. Yeah, I knew that I struggled with pride here and there, but I didn't think it was so deeply rooted in my life until I got married. And with being with Austin, having to think through just both of our wants and desires and the purpose that God has placed on our lives, I've really had to lay down what I wanted to God or at the feet of Jesus, and that's been really difficult because I'm selfish. I want things my way, but that doesn't work in marriage. So it's been revealing, to say the least, but it's been really good. I'm grateful that God chose marriage as the path for sanctification for us.
What is a wonderful memory that you have through our first 2 years? Other than that one, hey.
I guess I'll bring up this one. The one of climbing down the wrong side of the mountain.
Why don't you tell us about the wrong side of the mountain?
Well, we traveled a lot the summer that we got married, and one of those places was Colorado.
The first 60 days of our marriage, we traveled 40 of them.
Yeah, we traveled a lot. It was really fun.
It was a lot of fun.
We went to Winter Park, and we stayed in a cabin. There was, I think the Continental Divide was right there. We could see it out the window. It was beautiful. We were, I think, exploring Winter Park, the town. It's really cute. And we wanted to find some trails to go on. So Austin was talking to, I don't know who it was.
It was one of the adventure shops down there. You rent skis, mountain bikes, stuff like that. And
he was asking, so he was asking that person about what the best trails were and all that kind of stuff. And they pointed out the trail to Mount Neva.
But they said it was hard to find. And so when they explained it, when you get up to the summit, there's another trail that will loop around and come down the backside of this valley towards a lake that we were going to camp at. And the person working there said to just whenever you get up there, walk around and find the trailhead, kind of told me where to look. And then you just follow that trail and it loops around the backside of the mountain.
So once we climbed to the top of Mount Neva, beautiful.
I'll show you a picture here in a second.
Yeah. We took a break, had some lunch, and then Austin went looking for the trail. And I remember him saying, "Oh, I think I found it, let's go." And I was like, okay. So we started to climb down, and it was really steep. And I thought, okay, I guess this is just temporary. But after 30 minutes, it was still steep.
And getting steeper.
Yes.
So when I saw the trail, it kind of went down in between these two, in like a gorge, a rock gorge. And I thought, well, maybe it goes down a little bit and then starts traversing across the mountain. And I walked down a little bit, and that's kind of what it seemed to do. And so I said, let's go.
Yeah.
So here you can see on the picture, this side of the mountain, the lake is here, and the side of the mountain is just all rocks. And in between all these rocks are little rock slides. And what I thought was a trail was actually where a big rock had slid down and made a type of trail. And we went about an hour and a half down, And about halfway through, it was about a 3-hour descent on this rock face. And what happened about halfway down?
I mean, so many things happened on that climb down. One of them, though, was that there was a hailstorm.
There was a hailstorm.
Yeah. And then towards the end, kind of, we had an hour left. We didn't know it at the time, but there were snow patches, and we couldn't go through it because we could slide because there was ice underneath.
Yeah. So
and that would just mean death.
Yeah,
basically.
So it's called a snow drift. The snow melts and it drips down below the snow and then runs underneath it. So it forces ice. So on top of the snow, it can just slide down and avalanche.
Yeah.
So it can be very dangerous.
As I'm thinking about this story, my hands are sweating.
Yes.
Because at some points we had to boulder, and I was wearing hiking boots. Obviously, those aren't the shoes
with our
to
big
wear.
backpacking gear on.
Yeah. And when we approached the snowdrift, Austin was like, we've got to like climb on the side of the mountain like a 90-degree angle and climb, you know, horizontally over the snow. And that was about half a mile. And I broke down. I was like, I can't do it. I will not do it. We will die. And so Austin was like, okay, let's explore other options. And so he climbed up over the hill. There was a better way out. And so from that point on, it was still hard, but it was smooth sailing compared to what we were doing before.
Needless to say, we got out and we were fine, and we got to camp in a beautiful, beautiful valley of this mountain. Mm-hmm. And it was really a wonderful trip. And we got down without a single scratch. We took it slow and easy, but never again. Stay on the trail, Austin. What is the Lord calling you to?
Something he continues to put on my heart is to talk about the hard things.
What do you mean by that? Talking about the hard things?
Hard things that are not necessarily brought up regularly in church, if that makes sense. Such things like, if you're wanting examples.
Yeah, tell us some examples.
Sure. Abortion, sex, LGBTQ+. Those are the three that came to mind. I think those are the things that God has laid heavy on my heart. Mm-hmm. My story, God had used abortion. I had had an abortion a few years back, and God used that part of my life. Even though I was rebelling and sinning in a lot of other ways, he used that to bring me back to him. And he did it in a beautiful way to where I remember thinking, you know, why don't more Christian women talk about this? Why is this not an issue that's discussed more? Why aren't there groups for women? There are, but a lot of people don't really know about them.
What do these groups look like that you're talking about?
They're recovery groups, basically processing the abortion, the events that surrounded it, talking with other women who have been through the same thing and who are wanting to heal as well.
Kind of processing the emotional aspects of what someone goes through in that event and some of the spiritual stuff that people experience in going through that type of an event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the grace and compassion that God has on women who have experienced that, because I think so often we hear the truth, but we don't necessarily get the grace part of it.
Yeah. What was it like to marry a missionary and to join this ministry team?
I wasn't necessarily nervous. I think it was more of an opportunity to learn how to trust God in a different way. It was hard at first when you were gone on mission trips. I'm grateful that he's not traveling so much. But as far as being a part of a ministry team, that's very new to me. I mean, I've gone on a mission trip with Austin before, but it's nothing like this. And the prayers that I had experienced on that mission trip were very much impactful, answered in big ways. And that was just for a short period of time. But this is long term, and we have so many people praying for both of us. And that is awesome for me. Like, seriously, something that leaves me in awe. There are so many things that have happened within the past 2 years. Even while we were engaged, I know people have been praying that just don't make sense unless you think, okay, someone had prayed for me, or someone had prayed for this. There are so many prayers going on that I don't even know about. So many unknown requests or unknown prayers or what have you, and I'm just, I think, overwhelmed in a good way by it.
I have a little bit of time, so we're gonna go get me all cleaned up. We are here at the barbershop, and Linda with Palace Barber is gonna help us out. She loves being on camera, right? Okay, Sarah just got home, and I just got home from work. She's about to walk in, and we're gonna see how she reacts to the new look.
You did not. Oh my gosh. So weird seeing your face.
What do you think?
I love your face.
Aww.
Yeah. I'm so glad you did it.
We love you so much, and always remember what God has done. Love y'all.